Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first of 10 races left of the season in the chase for the championship. Next 10 weeks are going to be very, very competitive for the top 16 drivers in the chase as they are going to go at it for the first season NASCAR Walmart Cup Series Championship. Hi, I am Levi McIntyre, aka ThrashManiac99, the voice of NASCAR Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to the first race in the chase. Welcome to the New England 300 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So this is a mix between an intermediate and a short track. So we're going to see some interesting racing here. Plus there's a lot of good corners on this track that you can pass on with an apex move. Plus also we could see pit strategy come into play here. We may not. But then again, we could see another wreck fest like we've had back at Bristol and Iowa, but we'll see how everything's going to play out. Now, to explain the chase for the championship before we get to the starting lineup. Basically, the top 16 drivers in the point standings who made it in were the winners of the season. Chris Washer, Austin Weiner, Parney Taylor, Charlie Rodriguez, Chris Oliver, Jessica Shelton, Cody Lamas, Austin LaPlante, Michael Norman, Matt McIntyre, Noah Hart, Fred Schaefer, Daniel Day, Cole Daly, Danny Wells, and Zachary Fitzwater. Those are the drivers who made it in the chase based on winning races. Now, how the chase for the championship is going to work. In the first 3 races, drivers are going to try hard to stay in the top 12 in points, because the 4 drivers who are 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th in points after the 3rd race in the chase, those 4 drivers who were 13th on to 16th will be eliminated from contention in the chase, and the points will get reset to 2,500 points. And that's how it's going to go on, so forth on vice versa. So after the 4th, 5th, and 6th race, the drivers who were 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th in points will be eliminated from contention. Then after races 7, 8, and 9, drivers from 5th on to 8th will be eliminated. And then in the finale race at Zenjoltis, whoever's the highest finishing driver who is in the top 4 in points by that point will be your NASCAR Walmart Cup Series Season 1 champion. But before that finale at Zenjoltis, we do have the non-points race, the Demolition Derby at Bristol. I'll be explaining about that once we come to that race. But for now, we've got the first race of the chase here in New Hampshire. Now we're going to take a look at our starting lineup. Starting on the pole is a driver who comes into the race in the 39th position in points, Chris Dollarton. He wants to try to get a win before the season's over so he can get recognition for next season in Season 2. We'll see what he can do today. Starting next to him is going to be his Front Row Motorsports teammate. Funny enough, Front Row Motorsports are on the front row with Chris Dollarton on the pole, and next to him is his teammate who's 34th in points, Nathan Hudson. Starting third is going to be the driver who comes into the race in the 26th position in points, a guy who came close to getting the win a couple times this year. Maybe he can get a win today, David Rivera. Starting fourth is the highest chase driver in the field, who comes into the chase and in the points in 9th, and that is Michael Norman. Rounding out the top 5 is going to be another chaser, Daniel Day, who comes into the race 13th in points based on making it into the chase. Let's see if he can get a win and get to a good momentum start here in the chase for the championship. Starting in 6th is going to be another chaser who's 15th in points, Danny Wells. Starting 7th is going to be another chaser who comes in 7th in points, Cody Lamas. Next to him is the driver who is a non-chaser who comes into the race 22nd in points, and that is none other than Cody Hagan. And then rounding out the top 10 in this row in 9th place is going to be another chase driver who comes into the chase 14th in points, Cole Daly. We'll see what he can do and get a win here today. And then rounding out the top 10 is going to be a non-chaser, and I think he's the highest non-chaser in points, 5th highest, Dylan Young. Then the rest of the field, we have chaser Fred Schaefer, Carlos Rodriguez, Eric Burden, Rue McIntyre, Kyle Matthews, Chris Nelson, Tommy Mooney, Henry Nova, Chris Michaels, Dylan Thero, chaser Noah Hart, chaser Austin LaPlante, Nick Smith, chaser Zachary Fitzwater, Seth Cole, Ian Dutta, chaser Charlie Rodriguez, Sonny Hammond, chaser Matt McIntyre, Ian Siegel, Henrietta Fitzwater, Ibrahim, chaser Chris Oliver, points leader chaser Chris Washer, Joshua Michaels, chaser Austin Weiner, Jordan Kolb, chaser Jessica Sheldon, Cameron Bailey, Charles Jackson, Trent Dunham, and starting dead last is chaser Barney Taylor. So the furthest back chaser starting is going to be Barney Taylor, and the furthest chaser starting is going to be Michael Norman in 4th. But now we are getting ready to go green. This is 38 laps on a relatively short track. It's a little over a mile, but it has the feel of an intermediate track, even though the length is almost like a short track. But we should see some great racing happening here at New Hampshire. Very flat, but here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. Chris Dollerton got a great jump on that start, but Nathan Hudson couldn't quite get going. And Nathan Hudson's going to pull away, and he might be able to lead lap 1. Meanwhile, back here, a battle for second between Nathan Hudson and David Rivera. Well, it looks like Chris Dollerton is going to lead lap 1 here at New Hampshire. Nathan Hudson, even though he's on the high line, he's keeping that high line going, and he's making it hard for David Rivera to get around for second. And then there you see back here, we got 3 chasers, make that 4 chasers, and make it also 5 who's battling for the 4th spot. Michael Norman, Daniel Day, Danny Wells, Cody Lamas, Cole Daly, along with Cody Hagan. We are still green, and now David Rivera is going to go to the inside once again on Nathan Hudson, and Chris Dollerton still has the lead. Let's see if Rivera can make the pass here this time. And it doesn't look like it. In fact, Nathan Hudson's going to clear the 6 of David Rivera for the time being. Let's take a look back here, see who's running in the back. Barney Taylor's still running dead last. Also back here is Jessica Shelton. They need to find some kind of groove to get themselves going up through the field if these guys want to try to get high enough in points. That way they're not going to worry about being 13th through 16th. Up here, these guys are racing rather well. Meanwhile, let's take a look up ahead. Chris Dollerton still leads, but now here comes chaser Daniel Day to the 2nd spot. But Nathan Hudson's not going to give it up. He's still running that high line, and he's doing a good job with it. But Daniel Day looks to have a slightly faster car, and he's going to get 2nd for the moment, so he is the highest running chaser, and he's going to clear Nathan Hudson, and now he's going to come down, and let's see if he can run down Chris Dollerton to get the lead. So right now the highest running chaser is Daniel Day, and the lowest is still Barney Taylor. And then not that far ahead is Jessica Shelton. Austin Weiner's running back here, Washer and Oliver, McIntyre, and Charlie Rodriguez is back here. Let's go back up to the lead. And Daniel Day starting to run down Chris Dollarton for the lead now. Meanwhile, back here, David Rivera is still trying to get around Nathan Hudson. It looks like he's going to clear him. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Meanwhile, back here, we got a battle for 5th between teammates and chasers, Michael Norman and Danny Wells. While back here behind them, we got Dylan Young and Cody Hagan battling for the, I believe it is the 6th position. And then there's Cody Lamas and Cole Dally up here. And then look at Rue McIntyre. He's picking his way up through the field one by one. And behind him is chaser Fred Schaefer. Now, Fred Schaefer, probably one of the most impressive drivers this season. He came into the race, or came into the season after he took over for Dylan Poteet after the race in Atlanta. And he hasn't raced all the races, and he picked up a win back at Iowa to get into this chase. And here he is in a potential chance to win the championship, even though he did not run all the races this season. Meanwhile, Daniel Day is your new leader. He got around Chris Dollarton. So Daniel Day, a chase driver, running as the leader. Let's take a look at a run through the top 20 at the moment. Daniel Day's your leader. 2nd, Chris Dollarton. 3rd, David Rivera. 4th, Nathan Hudson. 5th is Danny Wells. 6th is Michael Norman. 7th, Dylan Young. 8th, Cody Hagan. 9th is going to be Cody Lamas. And then rounding out the top 10 at the moment is Carlos Rodriguez. Then it's Cole Dally, Rue McIntyre, Fred Schaefer, Eric Burton, Kyle Matthews. That's the top 15. Then it's Tommy Mooney, Chris Nelson, Dylan Thero, Noah Hart, and Zachary Fitzwater, the top 20. Back here we got Henry Nova, Chris Michaels, Seth Cole, Austin LaPlante, Nick Smith, Sonny Hammond, Ian Siegel, Ibrahim, Ian Dutta, Charlie Rodriguez, Matt McIntyre, Henrietta Fitzwater, Chris Washer, Joshua Michaels, Charles Jackson, Chris Oliver, Trent Dunham, Jordan Culp, Austin Weiner, Jessica Sheldon, Cameron Bailey, and Barney Taylor just still has not been able to get going and try to get around cars as he's running here in dead last, and this isn't what he needs. Same for Sheldon and Weiner. But meanwhile, Daniel Day's pulling away to a pretty big lead, and meanwhile we have a battle for 2nd between Chris Dollarton and David Rivera. And surprisingly enough, we have not had a caution in this race. So we've been seeing some really good racing with these drivers here in New Hampshire, which is something we haven't had in a while, which has been great racing without any cautions, at least for the time being. And David Rivera still hooked to that back bumper of Chris Dollarton to try to get around for that 2nd spot. Meanwhile, back here, we've got a battle for 4th between Danny Wells and Nathan Hudson. Danny Wells is trying to get as much points as possible to get out of that 15th place in points and get himself higher up into the points so he can have a little cushion at the moment to avoid being eliminated from the chase. He hasn't gotten around Nathan Hudson quite yet. Meanwhile, we still have that battle for 2nd going on, while Daniel Day, who won last week at Texas to get into the chase, he is pulling away to a pretty big lead at the moment over 2nd place Chris Dollarton and David Rivera right behind him. Check back here, Barney Taylor still hasn't been able to get anywhere, and Jessica Sheldon's actually lost a spot, and Austin Weiner's losing a couple spots, and also up ahead you see Chris Oliver having some struggles. Chris Washer's running back here in 32nd, Matt McIntyre and Charlie Rodriguez. And there you see Austin LaPlante. And there's Zachary Fitzwater, Noah Hart. Let's see, there's Fred Schaefer. And then Cole Daly, Cody Lamas. So we have a pretty good amount of chase drivers running in the top 10 at the moment, including the leader, Daniel Day. And now these drivers may have to come down pit road. I'm sure maybe with Barney Taylor and Jessica Sheldon and other drivers who are chasers running in the back, they're probably running in the back as strategy in case they have to come down pit road, but I don't know. But meanwhile, let's see the margin Daniel Day has. He has a over a 1.5 second lead over Chris Dollarton at the moment. So Daniel Day is showing dominance right now. Let's see. He's getting ready to come down to the stripe to take 20 laps to go, so that means we will be a lap away from the halfway point here. Let's see the margin now. Wow, he is just a rocket right now. He is 3/4. He's about 0.25, about 2/25 hundredths of a second away from being 2 seconds ahead of Chris Dollarton. Now they're getting ready to come down the stripe to take halfway, 19 laps to go here at New Hampshire. So it looks like if they pit at the moment, they could make it on fuel the rest of the way. Now these drivers do have to pit at some point. Don't know when, but we'll find out. Meanwhile, Taylor and Sheldon are still back here, and Oliver's losing spots while Weiner has been just stagnant around that portion of the field around near the 40th place, excuse me. Meanwhile, we have not had a caution for the most part, and we still have this battle for second between David Rivera and Chris Dollarton, while Danny Wells back there is starting to lurk into this. The margin last time, Daniel Day has got a 2.25 second lead over Chris Dollarton at the moment. Nobody's coming down pit road yet. Now we are on lap 21, so it's obvious if they come down pit road any time, they will make it on fuel. So really, not really pit strategy going down, at least for the time being. Meanwhile, back here, we still have this big tussle between Oliver, Bailey, Weiner, Taylor, and Sheldon. And now Barney Taylor's going to try to get underneath Jessica Sheldon to get around and get higher than 42nd, but it ain't going to happen, at least yet. I think Daniel Day, there is Daniel Day. I thought he came down pit road. Let's see the margin. Over 2.5 seconds over Dollarton. And Rivera's still battling, trying to get around Dollarton. And also Danny Wells has caught the 2 cars ahead. And these drivers have still not yet come down pit road. And they are now finishing lap 23, which means it's 15 to go here. We are 15 laps to go, and we have not had a caution all race long, which is really interesting. And Barney Taylor's still running back here. But meanwhile, let's take a look and see where chase drivers are running. Daniel Day is your leader. Next highest chaser is Danny Wells in 4th. Then the next highest chaser is Michael Norman in 7th. Then Cole Daly in 9th. Cody Lamas 10th. Fred Schaefer in 12th. Then it's Noah Hart in about 17th. Zachary Fitzwater 18th. And then it's Austin LaPlante 26th. Then it's Charlie Rodriguez 30th. Matt McIntyre 31st. Chris Washer 35th. 38th is Chris Oliver. 39th Austin Weiner. 41st Jessica Sheldon. Dead last right now is Barney Taylor. Let's see the margin. 3 seconds. Daniel Day is leading this race. And he has still not yet come down pit road. And it's now 12 to go here in New Hampshire. Meanwhile, there's a 4-car fight going on now for second with Dollarton, Rivera. Danny Wells is now going to try to get underneath for third over David Rivera. And Dylan Young is entering this fray as well. Dollarton's actually starting to pull away a little bit from Rivera, Wells, and Young. So that's going to help him a little bit. Meanwhile, here comes Daniel Day to pit road finally. So now we're going to see pit stops take place. But meanwhile, we see drivers are actually staying out. Dylan Young, he stayed out. Did he lead that lap? Yes, he did. So that is the first different leader we have had since Daniel Day got around Chris Dollarton. I see Cameron Bailey, Jessica Sheldon, David Rivera, Austin Weiner came down pit road. There's Chris Dollarton. Daniel Day just now entered his stall. Looks like he's going with right side tires and fuel. Barney Taylor back here. And then we see cars. Oh, Barney Taylor gets a little side damage. Or really no damage hardly at all. And everybody else is coming down pit road. Let's see who is the leader at the moment. It looks like at the moment it is Dylan Young still, and now he's coming down pit road as it is 10 laps to go. Other drivers are coming down making their stops. Oh, Michael Norman, Tommy Mooney get involved in an incident. And Michael Norman is smoking. And I think I saw damage on Trent Dunham's car. It's like drivers were having trouble coming down pit road. And Michael Norman is going to be the big victim of that, as he is going to be probably out of the race. That is a tough break for the 3-car, who was running in the top 10 at the moment. Daniel Day scored 4th at the moment. Who was scored as the leader? They're saying Dylan Young was scored, but I think the lead has cycled back around to the 36 of Daniel Day, who's been the dominant car all race long. Michael Norman's still on track, still smoking, and now he's going to pull into pit road. But I believe his day is going to be over. And this is not what that 3 team needed. So now he's going to, his mulligan might have gotten used up here. And he is going to end up being dead last here, and this is not going to be good for him, as he probably will come into the next race 16th in points, so he's going to be in that danger zone of being eliminated after the 3rd race. Let's go and see where the 36 of Day is running at the moment. Joshua Michaels has no hood. And there's Daniel Day, and he's got a 4-second lead over Chris Dollarton, so everything is pretty much cycled back around to how it was earlier. And they're getting ready to come and take 6 to go, but let's take a look at the top 20, or the chasers, see where they're running. Daniel Day is your leader. The next chaser is Danny Wells in 5th. Next chaser is Fred Schaefer, 7th. Next chaser is Cody Lamas in 10th. Next chaser's Austin Weiner all of a sudden up here in the top 15 now. Let's see where he scored at the moment. Looks like he scored in the 13th spot, so he's the next highest chaser. Then the next highest in 16th is Cole Dally. 18th, Zachary Fitzwater. 20th, Noah Hart. Then Jessica Sheldon's now all of a sudden up here in the 22nd spot. And then it's Austin LaPlante 30th, Chris Oliver 31st, Matt McIntyre 33rd, Barney Taylor 36th, Charlie Rodriguez 38th, Chris Washer back here in 40th. And I would say that is it for the chasers, but Daniel Day still leads. Chris Dollarton's actually, we'll see once Dollarton gets past the start-finish line, the margin officially. Dollarton's actually gaining a little bit on Daniel Day, but I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch up to that 36 car. But let's check the 3 and see if he is officially out. And he is officially out of the race, so he's going to be the only retiree here in this race, and that is a tough break for the 3-car. Not what he needed at all, as it is 3 laps to go. Let's take a look at a quick run through of the field. It's Daniel Day the leader, second Chris Dollarton, third David Rivera. That's the lap down car of Joshua Michaels with no hood. Fourth Dylan Young, fifth Danny Wells, sixth Nathan Hudson, seventh Fred Schaefer, eighth Carlos Rodriguez, ninth is Rue McIntyre. Rounding out the top 10 is Cody Lamas. Then it's Cody Hagan, Eric Burden, Austin Weiner, Cameron Bailey, Chris Michaels, Sonny Hammond, Cole Daly, Zachary Fitzwater, Kyle Matthews, and Noah Hart, the top 20. Then it's Henry Nova, Jessica Shelton, Tommy Mooney, Henrietta Fitzwater, Seth Cole, Dylan Thero, Ian Siegel, Chris Nelson, Ian Dutta, Chris Oliver, Austin LaPlante, Jordan Culp, Matt McIntyre, Ibrahim, Charles Jackson, Barney Taylor, Nick Smith, Charlie Rodriguez, Trent Dunham, Chris Washer. And the white flag is out for Daniel Day. And it looks like Daniel Day is going to be good to go. He's going to win here at New Hampshire from the looks of it. But it's not official until he crosses the start-finish line. And it looks like he's going to make it. So Daniel Day is the second driver to win 2 in a row in a season. Daniel Day is going to get his second win of the season and the first win of the chase here at New Hampshire. Great job by that 36 team. That Daniel Day car, he has been on fire as of late. Got the win to get into the chase last week at Texas, and then he's going to get his second straight win, and it's going to be in the chase opener here at New Hampshire. So he's going to have good momentum going into next week. I believe at California is where we're running next. But before we take a look at the official results, we need to take a look and see what happened to Michael Norman to get him out of the race. Well, this was during the pit stops that happened. Michael Norman took 2 tires and gas. He's going to try to get out of pit road while Joshua Michaels tries to get in his stall, and they make contact, and wow, the 3 went up in the air for a split second. He's stuck up on the high wall, and then he tries to get out of there by going through his teammate, and then he hits the back of Nick Smith, and that was enough to get his motor blown. But that is a tough break for Michael Norman and Joshua Michaels as well. It all just happened when Norman was coming out of pit road, and then Joshua Michaels tried to get in his stall, which was literally right in front of the 3 cars, and that forced him to be stuck up on the high line. He tries to get out, but he hits the 20 of Nick Smith, and he hit him in that spot where it looks like your motor immediately goes, and that's exactly what happened to Michael Norman. But that was a look at what happened to him. We will now take you to the official finishing results. Well, here's a look at your official finishing results. Daniel Day is going to get his second straight win of the season to tie with Austin Weiner for consecutive wins in a season, and he's going to win the chase opener here at New Hampshire, and he's going to have full momentum going into the next race, which will be at California. Chris Dollarton was in that top 2 all day long. He's going to come away with second. David Rivera gets a great finish of third. Dylan Young, 4th. Great finish for him. And then the next highest chase driver was Danny Wells in 5th. This is going to help him out quite a bit to keep himself from being in 13th, 14th, 15th, or 16th in points before the third race is over. Nathan Hudson's going to get 6th. Then the next highest chaser was Fred Schaefer in 7th. Carlos Rodriguez 8th. Rue McIntyre 9th. And then the next chaser was Cody Lamas in 10th. So we only had 4 chasers in the top 10 finishing: Day, Wells, Schaefer, and Lamas. Then it was Cody Hagan, Eric Burden, Austin Weiner, the next highest chaser in 13th. Then it was Cameron Bailey, Sonny Hammond, Chris Michaels, Zachary Fitzwater, the next highest chaser. Then Cole Daly, Kyle Matthews, and then the chaser next was Noah Hart. Then it was Henry Nova, next chaser Jessica Sheldon, Tommy Mooney, Henrietta Fitzwater, Seth Cole, Dylan Thero, Ian Siegel, Chris Nelson, Ian Dutta. Then the next chaser was Chris Oliver. Then Chaser Austin LaPlante, Jordan Culp, Chaser Matt McIntyre, Charles Jackson, Ibrahim Ibrahim, Chaser Barney Taylor, Nick Smith, Chaser Charlie Rodriguez, Trent Dunham, then Chaser Chris Washer. He was the last car in the lead lap, then the only car a lap down, was Joshua Michaels, and then it was Michael Norman who finished dead last out of the race. In this race, we had no cautions out in this race, which is the record this season for a race with no cautions at all in a race, although we had an incident take place on pit road between Joshua Michaels and Michael Norman, and it cost Michael Norman dearly, and he's probably going to enter this race dead last in points heading into dead last in the chase points heading into California. But congratulations to Daniel Day for winning here at New Hampshire in the chase opener. Here's a look at your official finishing results as well as the updated chase points and point standings. But until next race in the chase, I'm Levi McIntyre saying so long, everybody.